Cheers. Coming to you from the night of the full moon in Virgo with some catnip, Queen Anne's lace, and oat straw tea, some honey. If you're watching this, I'm holding it up. Cheers. It's still pretty hot. Welcome to episode 2 of my podcast that's called Sister Sam. This episode is basically a video that I filmed while I was traveling in the land of enchantment, which is called New Mexico. I was in Santa Fe, around that part of the country, the state, and I was speaking on some reflections that I had about my time with the land. When I travel, I like to visit parks and talk to the trees and get to know the place in all the ways that are not just like, oh, like what stores are around? Is that store here? What restaurants are around here? Like those, excuse me. That's like all cool and fun and exciting in all ways. I like to travel as well. But something that I also found that I really enjoy is getting onto the land, into the elements with nature, and just introducing myself like I would to a new person, a friend, or even with New Mexico specifically, I felt like the land there was an elder. I didn't really feel like I was approaching somebody like I just totally felt the reverence of relating to place in a very reverent and respectful way, much like when we meet people in our family, like aunties or uncles, or even like estranged grandparents, which kind of just make me sad to say that the earth is some sort of estranged parent or grandparent to us. Kind of sad when you think about it like that. Anyway, my experience was sweet. It was magical, like it usually is. Um, but it's interesting to reflect back on these moments in connecting with the land and place and the elements. How in the moment that it's happening, I'm like fumbling and awkward and like unsure. And then I think back or I reflect back on what had happened, and it was like, no, that was like a dialogue. That was a conversation happening. There was some sort of like back and forth that I was engaged with. And it's really, really beautiful and awesome and amazing and incredible to me, honestly. Um, how interconnected and how, if we're open to it, how much can come through and how profound our relationship can be with place. The lessons that I've learned in understanding my place in time on this planet through like relating to these different places and plants and animals and times past have really brought me to a place of like gratitude and humility over and over again. And so I share this video because, well, honestly, my guides wanted me to. My style is very nonlinear, and this is just the one that kept coming back to me throughout the few days that I've been thinking about what I wanted to share this week on the podcast, and this is the one. I'm not sure why, but hopefully it lands for somebody who listens. Maybe it'll land 2 years from now if I'm still doing this podcast. Or even if I'm not doing it, it'll still exist somewhere out there for somebody to listen to, and maybe it'll help with somebody who's learning how to connect to the land and speak to the land and be in relationship with place, and may feel a little awkward, may feel a little shy at first, because that's definitely how it was for me in this episode that you're about to listen to. But without giving too much away, that's episode number 2. I hope you enjoy, and I hope this full moon didn't wreck you too much. I could go in on a whole nother conversation with that, but maybe that'll be episode 3. So we'll see. Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the episode. If you want to follow me on Instagram to keep up with my daily things, see what I'm making. If you want to learn from me, I post about courses that I'm offering, spaces for reflection, and I work with the moon a lot of the times, and I love to share that with people. If you would like to know what's happening with my vintage and apothecary page and business, you can follow my page, my personal slash, it's not really, I don't really want it to be a personal Instagram, but right now that's still my relationship with it. It's at sam.stelluna, and my shop page is Stelluna Goods, all one word, all lowercase. And I would love it if you gave me a follow, shout out, whatever, if you shared this podcast with a friend or somebody who might be like, oh, look what she's doing, kind of thing. I would love that, genuinely. And so, with that, I bid you adieu on this night of the full moon. Please enjoy my reflection from the time that I spent in New Mexico. Bye. I just want to reflect on my visit with the land here. I didn't want to leave. I was so comfortable and peaceful. I really felt like there was a dialogue happening between me and the spirit of the land, because I was like nervous. I'm usually nervous when I go to a new place and like introduce myself and make offerings if it feels right. I didn't have any like herbs or like flowers that I wanted to offer. I'm like messing with this way too much. So I offered song, just like whatever was coming through at the moment. And I definitely feel like I had more to say, but I was nervous. It's like meeting a person for the first time, and personally me, like I'm afraid to, sometimes, like I'm working on it, but I'm afraid to like be too much or like shock somebody or be like abrasive or whatever, but I am kind of shocking. It's just in my nature. And so I kind of just like took a seat back with this engagement and listened. I don't regret it. I'm just grateful, because at every point I felt like I was being directed, okay, if you're not comfortable with this, then this. Not that one? Okay, how about this one? There were like they're like so much like cedar that I felt like was being offered to me as a gift to take home. And like the first ones were like too big. I was like, no, it's okay. Like, I don't want to take. And then I like moved on and I walked away, and then I like looked at some roots. I just like kept walking on the trail, and then I turned around and there's like the perfect size cedar. I'll show you. There's like the perfect sized piece of cedar. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take that one. So, ooh, it smells so good. I really love it here. Yeah. I like tuned my chakras, my energy centers. I don't know. I tuned my body to present time and really connected with. There was like a tree that was like, hey, come sit here. You'll be safe here. And I approach it, and there's like a pile of rocks already there, as if they were like waiting for me to come and like sit with them, because I came here to charge the crystals that I bought yesterday. And just really beautiful, magical stuff.